Welcome to the Gospel Road. We're going to look at 1 John 4 today. It says, "Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, for many false prophets have gone out into the world. By this you know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God, and every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you heard was coming and now is in the world already. Little children, you are from God and have overcome them. For he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. They are from the world, therefore they speak from the world, and the world listens to them. We are from God. Whoever knows God listens to us. Whoever is not from God does not listen to us. But this we know in the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God, and whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. Anyone who does not love does not know God, because God is love. In this, the love of God was made manifest among us, so that God sent his only Son into the world that he might live through him. In this is love, not that we have loved God, but that he loved us and sent his Son to be the propitiation of our sins. Beloved, if God so loved us, we ought to love one another. No one has ever seen God. If we love one another, God abides in us, and his love is perfected in us. By this, we know that we abide in him, and he in us, because he has given us of his Spirit. And we have seen and testify that the Father has sent his Son to be the Savior of the world. Whoever confesses that Jesus is the Son of God, God abides in him, and he in God. So we have come to know and to believe the love that God has for us. God is love, and whoever abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. By this is love perfected with us, so that we may have confidence for the day of judgment, because as he is, so also are we in this world. Therefore, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. For fear has to do with punishment, and whoever fears has not been perfected in love. We love because he first loved us. If anyone says, I love God, and hates his brother, he is a liar. For he who does not love his brother, whom he has seen, cannot love God, who he has not seen. And this commandment we have from him: whoever loves God must also love his brother. 1 John 4, I almost felt like, William Shatner for a minute. There it is to do. I don't know. 1 John 4, that's what we looked at today. As I always say, remember to read that. How does it help you to understand you, to understand what you're dealing with, to understand what you are going through every day? That comes down to point of view. So the first part of this, it says, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirit to make sure that it is from God. So to make sure that it's right, testing to making sure the information that you're given is true. So perfect example that I can even give on that. A couple of weeks ago, I went to a dinner with a friend. It was one of those annual dinners with associations, and they had a steak dinner. Now, this isn't one that you can test, but this just shows how two people can give 2 points of view when you're having that conversation. And if there is an opportunity to be able to verify what is being said, you need to do that. So we both had a steak dinner. I was completely surprised. I was not expecting it. It was an 8-ounce sirloin, if I remember. And, mine was great. It was warm. It was the right temperature for me. It was tender. I mean, I couldn't believe the knife that I had, because it wasn't a full steak knife. It just cut through it. It was easy to chew. Very good. It was great. So the guy sitting right next to me, we ended up, we always get together every week, and he said his was cold and it was tough. And he felt terrible after eating it the rest of the week. I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay. Well, we had two completely different experiences at this dinner. So he was not very impressed with it. Now, the speaker for him, he was very impressed with. His speaker was good. I was not impressed with the presentation or the execution of how they did the keynote. I thought it could have been done a little bit better. And the speaker was not very dynamic, but he, again, point of view. Everyone has a different way of seeing things because we're individuals. We have our own expectations. We have things that we are looking for that experience. Now, like I always say, I try to keep the bar low so I can just step over it. That way, my expectations are really low. He normally has very high expectations when he walks into something. But again, this is where we are as we are dealing with life every day, how we are seeing things differently, seeing things in our own view as we are making our way through. We're learning things, we're being taught things, we are applying things. But again, when you're being told something, you have to verify that that information being given to you is true and accurate. We all do that. You're learning, you're training, you're trying to find out how to do a job. And if you are trained to do that job incorrectly, then you're doing the job wrong. Then you get in trouble later. And then, of course, you try to say, well, it was, so and so trained me, so it's their fault, not mine. Well, to a degree, yes. But it's also to the degree they might have trained you. They might have showed you what to do. But then this is where you need to hold yourself accountable to verify what is being done on how that is being taken care of. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is there a manual that you can go to make sure that the information being given is done correctly? Is there another person that you can maybe talk to and say, hey, so and so told me this, and this is how I'm going to do it. Is that right? Somebody else that's in the area that can maybe even help guide you a little bit. Because sometimes it takes more than one person to do all the training. It can take a village, depending on the job, depending on the department, depending on what it is that you're doing. Sometimes you get that opportunity to be able to learn more. You get that opportunity to make sure you understand what's going on. But sometimes you're on the fly and you just have to get it done. I know through my career over the years that so many times I was just thrown in the deep end, and it's basically figure it out. Sometimes I did great. Sometimes I didn't do so well. It happens. But when you have that opportunity to verify what is being given to you, take that opportunity, take that chance, right? Was trust but verify. We've heard that for years. It's actually in the Bible when you read it. You're being trusted. You're trusting what's being told to you, but verify that it's true. Reagan said the same thing. Trust but verify. And that's how we have to do it. And we're in a world that it's so hard to trust anyone. That even happened to me this weekend because my mom did something very bad, dealing with a neighbor, which in my mind, sketchy from the front because they asked them to, they needed cash for something, rent. I'm going to write you a check and I need you to cash it and give me the cash back. Okay, that to me, sketchy right from the beginning. Because I'm looking at it, it's a newer neighbor. They've been there a few months. They've been paying the rent. Now, I also know that their neighbor doesn't live in the state. I mean, their landlord does not live in the state, and I don't see them driving down once a month to collect the rent. And I could be wrong. But then again, is there a problem that it had to be cash when they're doing it? Because maybe they bounced a few rent checks, so they're not going to accept checks from them anymore. Well, my mom trusted them, took the check, deposit in the account, wrote the check out, gave it back to them, which they were supposed to hold it 5 days, making sure the funds cleared before they cashed it. What happened? No. Went in Thursday, deposited the check. They went back in on Friday, cashed the check. Saturday, deposit was put on hold. Now, Is she going to get the money back? I don't know. Still going through this. But in my mind, sketchy. In my mind, ask more questions. So sometimes things happen in our lives that we are not sure what's going on. And we have to ask the right questions. We have to ask enough questions to make sure. I mean, again, always my stories with my parents, right? It happened again this weekend because my dad had a warranty on his car years ago, ended up buying a second warranty on his car. So he had two warranties at the same time. One was the warranty that came with the car, and the second one was something he got in the mail. Okay. And he's like, oh, my warranty's expiring. No, stop, think. Your warranty's not expiring. You're not at the mileage or at the years. So they did it. Try to get out of it, which this bothered me because we try to cancel it and they're going, well, no, sorry, you did this and you can't cancel it. I'm like, really? Probably should have pushed a little harder. Didn't. So it went through. Ends up getting another postcard in the mail this weekend. And he's like, oh, I need the warranty on my car. I'm like, no, you don't. Luckily, I'm doing my parents' laundry and I'm coming up from the basement getting a load started. And I catch my mom on the phone. I'm like, what are you doing? I had to push for her to hang it up because they were going to go right back in to sign up for this warranty again, which they do not need for the car. He doesn't drive that much. They could put that money away. I mean, right now we need to be more concerned about their medical bills and things like that as they're getting older. Man, I was frustrated. I was just going nuts all weekend. And of course, still kind of until I kind of double check and see what's going on with the whole bank account situation. Trust, but verify. You know, you're hearing something sounds too good to be true, most likely it is. Something sounds sketchy, it probably is. So verify what is happening to make sure you are not getting in trouble, making a bad decision, doing something wrong. That could be a huge financial decision that just can devastate you if you're not careful. And we hear about it all the time. We hear about the scams and all this because, you know, the IRS calls you, which they don't. They only send you letters. You know, the police department, you know, the sheriff's office calls you. No, you need to really be careful. We are in a world that they are going to do anything they can to manipulate you and to figure out how to take you, take your money, whatever it is. They're going to deceive you. And that's what the world we are in. We have to be careful. It's the whole thing. We remember when the internet first started and it was the prince from Africa. You give them $100 and they'd send you $1 million. Yeah. Trust but verify. Understand what's happening around you. Be cautious. Be careful. We have to be. It's just like driving. Because you're not just driving for yourself, you're driving for the person that's next to you, that defensive driving. And today was just absolute nuts trying to get to the office. You know, we got to be careful. And it's unfortunate that we have to be careful so much in our world. But it's always been this way. This isn't new. Again, you read through the Bible that was written 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, and they were dealing with the exact same situations as we are today. Just in a different time. Isn't that crazy? We're just doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. So we just live in an insane world. It's insanity doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, the thing is, it's doing the same thing over and over again. And then you being prepared so you're not taken for granted. Really be careful. Really be careful with you, with your friends, with your family. You know, you hear something and you hear a friend doing something, try to help them. Sometimes people want to listen. Sometimes no, they just want to do it on their own. Trust but verify. That's how we can be better. That's how we can be more successful for us and for those around us, and even helping them succeed as well. 1 John 4, check it out. How can it help you do better in your life, to be better in your life? Yeah, I trip, I fall, I fail, I make bad decisions. It happens. But did you learn from that bad decision, or are you still doing the same thing over and over again? I remember I had a program director tell me once, if you mess up, you know what not to do next time. We'll say it wasn't in those words, but he wasn't saying it mean either. But if you make a mistake, you know what not to do next time. You know how to do it the correct way the next time. You know how to do it better the next time. 1 John 4. Be sure to check that out. Thank you so much for listening to The Gospel Road. If you enjoyed this, you can always give me a rating. I always appreciate those, and share it on social media. I always love it when you share those. And you can find me on social media as well on pretty much all the different levels, the different platforms, pretty much at My Buddy Jimmy, from Instagram to X to Facebook to YouTube to TikTok to, I don't know, whatever one I might have forgotten. But I'm out there. I don't hide very easily, as I tell a lot of people. But I certainly do appreciate that. You can also see a lot of the things I post on mybuddyjimmy.com as well, at least for the podcasts and the videos and things like that. But a lot of my jokes and other goofy things, you find it on the other platforms. But thank you so much for taking the time for listening. Again, 1 John 4, be sure to read that for yourself to try and be better, and to trust but verify. Listen but test to make sure that the information you're being given is correct. Thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. Have a great day. God bless.
Spinal adjustments provided by Dr. Chad Rolfson. The Spinal Tuning Chiropractic Center is a Des Moines area low flat fee per month unlimited chiropractic care practice. When life happens, just adjust. Schedule today at spinaltuning.com.
If you're looking for help with software, app, web development, be sure to check out my friends at ingenuitycompany.com. They believe in their clients. Software development, app development, web development, visioning, design thinking, diagramming, organizational development, strategy. They can help you at the Ingenuity Company. Find out more at ingenuitycompany.com.
The Jimmy Olsen Radio Network.